So welcome to Terrible Tale, the Gaming Horror. Today we'll be talking about Twilight Disaster 3. Now this is about the story of the second time I played Twilight Imperium 3. And it taught me a lot of great lessons about gaming. Now the strange thing about this being a Terrible Tales is that I actually liked playing with everybody at the table at the time, and I still like all of them. You know, -1 of the story for this guy, just click on the link below and you explain why that one person fell out of favor for me. But right now I still will play with minus that guy, every one of those guys still. But the strange thing about this story is that it taught me two things about gaming. One, that I started as a wargamer. So for me it's always been that more deeper rules, longer playing time added more depth and more equated to more fun. I found out that's totally untrue. The second thing is that you have to cater the game, or rather the group, to the game. Before this story, I didn't care. If I liked you, I'll play any game with you. And obviously from this story, you'll find out why that's a bad idea. So let's get into it. Now, this all started when after we played Twilight Imperium 3 the first time. We didn't finish it. But me and the host, Ryan, we felt, I personally, for me, I still feel that Twilight Imperium 3 has a great potential. Personally, I feel that 3 onwards up will be fun. But Ryan feels that you have to play with 6. I respectfully disagree, but it is what it is, and it is his place and game. So we found the people, but the thing is that just to find exactly 6, we kept pull from everywhere. So we didn't pick people who were ideal for the game, so to speak. More like, for example, there was more Eurogamer types and everything. So a conflict game might not be the best idea, but we did. So we brought everybody together. And on top of that, Twilight Imperium 3 is a very long rules-intensive game. And a lot of them turned out not knowing anything about the rules, which is fine. Thank God we had Ryan, who was able to explain the whole game fully. So, and he gave a very extensive rules explanation. And so, by the end, everybody got the game. Problem with very long games like this is that even after he explained very extensive, and he did a good job, he did a fantastic job explaining the game, people still didn't really get the game yet. So, we just started. On top of that, we had, to save time also, we skipped the setup. Ryan had did it completely by himself. And what he did was that he's an Oxford scholar, so he's super smart. Not that this is very hard to do, but he has spread the planets and the homeworlds totally equally. Everything was symmetrical for every player. So, amount of resources you get, and amount of resources you get to the distance from a wormhole and everything, that's all equal for everybody. So, basically, everything was fair. And therein starts, we didn't know at the time, but therein starts the inherent problem with the game. Because no one had any reason to expand further because of the status quo. That's what we will find out later. So after the first turn, we did the standard thing and we started to build up first. As any Twilight Imperium 3 game, I think. First rules explanation and the first turn ending, 3 hours had already passed. So I was personally worried we might not finish the game. And the same thing happened. Build up. And this happened for several turns, in fact. The game started to drag on into a game of the saddest form, which is nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. People just grabbed empty space, empty space, empty space. And because all the resources were equally spread, no one really needed to push out. And so the map, again, was split totally equally again. And after that, nothing happened. Now, from turn 2 onwards, it's just a flow. There's no need to say turn 3, turn 4, because it would take too long. So we got to a point where the whole map was equally spread, and Mercantile Rex was controlled by the player beside me. So he was the only one that broke the equilibrium. He got Mercantile Rex. And so I turned to some other people and said, do you want to, why don't we set alliance, we attack him so that he doesn't get Mercantile Rex, because, most of the goals in the format we were playing, gives a bonus for holding Thorax for a certain amount of time, and so on and so forth, victory points. We're playing till 10 victory points. I tried so many times to make a deal. You know, like one time I made a deal whereby like I said, most of the gamers were Euro gamers, and so they kept building up, getting new technologies, but did nothing. One of them had started to build and finish a War Sun, which is the strongest unit in the game, and he still had attacked not a single person. In fact, he had lost territory and he had not used his army yet. And I went to all these people, and one time I was so frustrated that I just needed a deal. I turned to everybody. I didn't even care that they could break the promise. And I said to them, okay, I'm going to attack this guy because he is holding Mercantile Rex. It's too much of an advantage. I need just promises that you won't attack me and take advantage of my situation when I obviously attack him and get weaker. And I got promises for everybody. And then I turned to the guy with the War Sun and I said, can you promise not to attack me? Or take the territory that I take from this guy? And he said no. So that whole thing fell flat. You know, and you must praise that he was honest, but like I said, I didn't mind if he broke his promise. It is a war game, but by then I guess my bit of my frustration was showing. You know, and on top of that, it wasn't just me that might have added to the whole situation. Was that one guy at the end of the table? He too started by, I think, turn 3, turn 4, started to get really bored, and he actually started the more vocal way of saying it. He just came out and said, like, you know what, this is boring. You know, this is, you know, we can't play a war game without attacking and all that. But of course, he did take it a bit far by when he said things like, you know, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna move here. You know, I don't care because this game's boring. So that did, I know for a fact, annoy one other player because of the language being used. You know, because the guy felt that he was pinpointing him, which to a certain extent was true, because that other guy that got somewhat offended also never attacked anybody, and he kept building up, but never using his army. In fact, that player, his entire empire only had one construction facility. Meaning that one construction facility taken out, he couldn't even produce units anymore. This situation went on, really, for, I could not get any deal. I tried 3 entire deals, and nothing worked out. So I too got very frustrated with it. And here's the, by then, everybody was saying this. This is the weirdest thing. Everybody was saying, man, I wish someone would attack someone. But no one wanted to do it. It felt really like NATO politics. You know, everybody wanted the same goal, but nothing gets done. So at one point, I got really frustrated, and by then everybody was just complaining. You know, it, to a certain extent, I don't know why we didn't just end the game, but I saw that the guy, like I said, who only had one factory was an open target. And I always feel that if you cannot hit the strongest player, alright, you should hit the weakest player. Why? Because if you solo up his territory for war games, you get his resources. And what happened was, actually I wanted to attack the strongest player, but like I said, one of the deals before was that if I attacked him, the guy with the War Sun would just come in and solo my all the territory took, and maybe even me. So there was no point attacking it. The strongest player right now, the guy who's winning the game, alright, he is a very, very honest man. Alright, he's a war gamer, but he doesn't want to read rules, which is fine, because strangely to his playstyle, that's totally okay. He's just happy to play games, you know. But he's a very successful businessman in Singapore, and he's a very good Christian. So the hard part is he's a war gamer, but he takes his personal life into his games. I'm sure he disagrees, but more than one person has said this before, in that if I knew from his personality and from playing before that from the start of the game, what I did was I told him we had a mutual defense treaty. Alright, and until one of us broke it by attacking one another or something like that, we wouldn't attack each other. So literally, I trusted that for such a fact that I left our borders empty. Obviously, I wanted to attack, but the Warsong guy did not agree. But he had no reason to attack me, yet none of us had broke the treaty. And on the side note, that can have huge implications in a war game. Just as when anybody or many of us play with him now, we all know the game revolves around if he has any significant military power or clout in the game, was that the whole game revolves around when does a person betray this person. Because here's the strange part about it. If you even do one bad thing against him in the game which he can signify as a break in the treaty, from then on it's all out. He will start betraying you left and right, and just any card that he gets bad, he will use on you. Which can be a problem in a war game because, if he has no reason to use it on anybody else, if you're the only one that broke any kind, even the smallest thing, like one time there was one game I played with him, here I stand. I think I broke a trade. I didn't pass him one gold or something. It's pretty minor for trade treaty in that game, and from then on any card he got that was bad was kind of thrown on me. Attack me, and that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that way he plays. But the problem is that the whole game then revolves around that. So same thing here. I left the border with him empty, and I decided to attack the weakest player in the game, which was this Euro gamer who just kept building up with one factory. And I was about to attack him, alright? And he started to give that very sad face, and he tried to defend himself by saying like, oh, you don't attack me, look, he's stronger, and all of that. And you can tell he wasn't that happy. Again, that's the problem with Twilight Imperium 3. All that build-up could be for nothing. And he couldn't win against my army. My army was way stronger. So, I did feel bad, but I was going to attack him anyway. Until the guy the player over here, I'm not saying the name of the players, I apologize because, well, maybe they don't want their names mentioned. So, the player across the table decided then to move his army to the wormhole. The other end of the wormhole is near my empire. So I saw this and I go like, you seriously gonna attack me? And remember, this is the guy that complained that nothing was happening in the game. I was about to break the stalemate. And he's like, no. But here's the thing, Twilight Imperium 3 is a very slow plodding game. Alright? Moves are telegraphed pretty much easily in that game. Because you have to move, you can only move 1 or 2 spaces, most of the planets. Again, our planets were equally spread, so it was very hard for anyone to take any initiative without someone spotting it. So, he moved there, so I decided to give up the entire attack. Because if I did it, he moved to the wormhole with his entire army. For no reason. And then he's like, no, I'm just moving here because. So, the entire attack basically went flat. And that's when I gave up. I literally gave up. That's when, in my mind, the history of my people in Twilight Imperium 3, we started off as warmongers. Then after that, that's the day that they became Buddhist monks. They renounced all war and just wanted peace. I just gave up. I didn't want to attack anybody because there was nothing that could be done to fix the game. It was just like every time someone would try to get smart, no one was willing to break the stalemate. And here's the thing, I even said when I was about to attack the weakest player, this will break the stalemate. Just don't attack me. Alright? And that didn't happen. So, like I said, it's like NATO. Everybody wants the same goal, but nobody wants to give up a bit of something to get the whole thing moving. So the game just dragged on like that. Literally. Nothing happened. The saddest thing about the game, nothing happened. And the leader was at 8 points. His closest rival, I think, was at 3 points or 4 points. So the game was basically over. And so, as you can see, personalities, ways of playing the game, and and so on did not mesh with everybody. So by then, I already given up. Like I said, I already given up the game. My troops had become Buddhist. We just wanted to maintain what we had. And I started to get so bored in the game that I didn't even care about anymore. Like I said, the guy who came and did nothing. He just watched the whole game. I started talking to him. He sat beside me by then. We just kept talking about other stuff, like other games, game design and stuff like that. here's the strange part. It was then when I openly declared that I didn't care anymore. And another person, the other very vocal player, also started to say, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna do this. And I actually openly said, why don't we just end the game? Everybody's like, no, let's continue. Okay, fine. So I didn't care anymore. And that was when the weakest player and everybody started to attack each other. And here's the thing, we actually had agreed that just to play the game one more turn, or was it one or two more turns? And I'm like, why? Okay, and they wanted to. That's when they started attacking each other. All right, but it didn't matter because the guy with 8 points already would have won. And I was actually talking, and then someone said it's my turn. I just moved away. I just moved my troops away to an empty spot on the map. And the weakest player turned to me and said, like, why aren't you gonna attack the strongest player? And I go like, I don't care anymore. And he's like, oh, okay, so you're not trying anymore. But it was like, throughout this whole game, I'm trying to make a deal to break the equilibrium of the game, and no one wants to attack each other. Now when the game is going to continue as agreed upon by everybody, one turn or more or two more turns, now this is when everybody starts moving. When the winning player already has won with 8 points. Alright, so it just baffled me. And at the end of the game, and to be absolutely upfront, I did lose my temper. At one point I just stood there, especially to the guy with the war sign. I'm like, you can't do this kind of thing. You can't build up forever and do nothing. And I feel bad. Because I know he wasn't too happy about it. But it was just a whole frustrating moment for everybody, because nothing was, like I said, the worst thing happened one of the worst things that happened in the game. Nothing was happening. So the game ended. Obviously the guy with the 8 points won, and then we went to have dinner. We thought that everybody kept agreeing that it was not a good game, everything like that. And I agree. Maybe I shouldn't have I said the things I said when I did lose my temper a bit. Yeah, I wasn't shouting or screaming. I was just like saying in a very, like, come on, you can't do this. You can't just wait around and do nothing. I said in this kind of tone. Maybe I shouldn't have, so I admit that and apologize. But overall, like I said, should cater your games to the group. That was the day after that. I will pick players for certain games and all that. I don't just, willy-nilly, let's all just gather to play a game. That's a lesson I learned from Twilight Disaster 3. So thank you very much. Till next word.